The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, Live Music Friday with the parallel musical journey of Almost Olive before they hit the stage of Studio 9 tonight in North Adams.
No, they are not named after an invasive species, but we too have made that mistake. We'll also meet a brand new theater company embarking on its very first production as we chat with members of Heartbeat Theater about Proof.
But first, we take to the ice,
where nearly a century of history has put pucks in net right here in the City of Firsts.
The American Hockey League is a professional ice hockey league in North America that serves as the primary development league of the National Hockey League, which you may have heard of. The league compromises 32 teams with 26 in the U.S. and 6 in Canada.
And one of those teams lives just a few blocks away from our studios here at NEPM. A team from Springfield has taken the ice in the AHL and its predecessors for all but 7 years since 1926, and in every season since 1954.
Wow.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of Springfield teams, and hopefully we'll get into a little bit of that.
Yes, and name changes and all that stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The latest of those teams are the Springfield Thunderbirds, bringing amazing skill, community action, and more to the area.
And this MLK Day, they'll be hosting a Kids Takeover Day as they take on the Scranton Penguins. And here to talk with us about the team, their legacy, and the many community projects this season and beyond is president of the Thunderbirds, Nathan Costa. Thanks so much for walking down the street and coming over to the studios.
No, I love it. It's great to be here.
How did you end up in charge of a hockey team?
That's a long story, yeah. But you guys did hit it right on the head. The Springfield has been a charter member of the American Hockey League, so there's been American Hockey League hockey here in Springfield for, like you said, it's going to be 100 years next year, actually. Quite a rich history of hockey here in Springfield, and I started my career working for a hockey team down in San Antonio, an AHL team that was owned by the Spurs, which led me to the league office for the American League is actually in downtown Springfield. So spent 9 years working at that league office, which is in Monarch Place. Running their team business services. So really gave me a great pathway towards running the team.
I think a lot of people are familiar with sort of the minor leagues when it comes to baseball. So the Woo Sox, which moved from Pawtucket to Worcester, are the farm team for the Boston Red Sox. Who is the Thunderbirds the farm team for?
Yeah, the St. Louis Blues.
Traitors.
So, yeah, hey, if I could be the Boston Bruins affiliate, I think we would all take that.
And are the Bruins affiliate the Providence Bruins in Providence?
Correct.
Same league?
Yep, same league.
They play in the Dunkin' Donuts Center, which I have always called the Munchkin. Because what's the center of a donut?
Yeah, that's
other than a
good.
Munchkin?
I like that.
And I have heard that you call your stadium the Thunderdome. Is this correct?
We do like to call it the Thunderdome, yes.
It's
awesome because we have a regular segment on this show called the Wine Thunderdome, but it's more an homage to Mad Max and Tina Turner.
There you go.
Anyway.
Ours was kind of like the American Gladiator mashup, too. I think we got that from that as well. So
nice.
We'll take it.
Yeah, so the St. Louis Blues, right?
Correct. They're our affiliate. We actually, when we first took over this ownership group, we bought the team back in 2016 when they were moved in the middle of the night, essentially, to Tucson, Arizona. Paul Picnelli, our local managing partner, went out and said, look, we had the casino coming. There was a lot of momentum. We didn't want to have the Mass Mutual Center empty. So he went out and found a team, which was actually for sale in Portland, moved them here.
Which Portland?
Portland, Maine.
Okay,
yeah.
Original Portland.
Original Portland.
Yeah, original Portland, correct.
And
also,
Peter Picnelli is the Peter Pan bus fame.
Paul Picnelli.
Paul Picnelli, yeah.
Yes, his brother.
I see, yeah.
Obviously, the Picnelli family, came from Peter Pan bus lines. But his vision was a little bit unique. It's not just him owning the team. He wanted to bring other owners in and really local business leaders because that was the strategy, trying to get not just one person, but, a number of other local business leaders involved. So we've got 30 owners of our team.
Wow.
All locally based, all pretty big names that people would probably know. Dave Fontaine and Fontaine Brothers, Ted Hebert, Frank Colicino and the Colvest Group. I mean, we kind of went down the line, and really the idea behind that was to hopefully open doors. Hopefully when we are out in our community and we're doing things that somebody within the ownership group knows somebody. It's worked out very, very well for us and has provided us with a really good foundation.
Speaking with Nathan Costa, who's the president of the Springfield Thunderbirds, who are right down the street from here here at the NEPM studios.
I think we all hear about the draft with the NHL, but how do new players come to teams for the AHL? How do the Thunderbirds get new players from either juniors or from collegiate hockey?
We are the owners of the club, so we own the franchise, but we partner with the St. Louis Blues, and they provide all the players. So, that's a good thing for me. I ran the business, so I get to focus on the business of hockey. The Blues are the ones who get to deal with the hockey operations. And so they do get a number of their players through the draft, but also there's free agency in our league as well. So there's a certain number of players that could be signed for an AHL contract that could play specifically here in Springfield. But the majority of our players are under contract with the St. Louis Blues. So there is a path to get to the NHL.
We've mentioned this on the show before, but Khalees is a huge hockey fan.
Mostly of collegiate hockey and mostly because of UMass.
Khalees runs the board, the radio. She's the engineer for UMass Amherst hockey and has been for a long time. 10 years now. As long as the Thunderbirds have been in action. Which is amazing to me. From a hockey perspective, Khalees, what's your take on the Springfield Thunderbirds?
I feel like the AHL is a really important stepping stone to NHL hockey in general from the collegiate standpoint because the rules are different.
Different from college or different from NHL?
College rules are different from NHL rules. And so the AHL, that developmental part of them being a team is a really important stepping stone for those who want to pursue professional hockey, to have kind of a grace period where they adjust to the new setting.
Yeah, specifically, probably physically, right? I think, it's similar to the NFL where there isn't a development league for the NFL, but physically, players that are coming out of college are not necessarily mature enough to, jump right into the NHL, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times you're playing with men, and it's where a lot of our top prospects are going. 95% of the players that are in the NHL are coming through the AHL at some point. And so a lot of times now, teams really view having a strong system at this level leads to success at the next level, too.
We're speaking with the president of the Springfield Thunderbirds, Nathan Costa. Thunderbirds, talk about the name of the team, because as we mentioned, it's a 100-year history. It hasn't always been the Thunderbirds. There's been all sorts of interesting names over the years.
It was the Indians and the Kings and the Falcons, I do believe. But those are all technically different teams, most of which still exist in other cities at this point.
Yeah, so things get moved, like the Houston Oilers become this other thing in the end. All that, how it gets moved around. So what about the name Thunderbirds? Was that a name that you guys wanted to go with 10 years ago when this was all coming to be?
We had to do this very quickly, right? So we bought the team. It was sold right at the end of the season in 2016 in April. So we actually came in and bought the team in May and June. And so we had to pick a team name right away.
Yeah.
And we held a name the team contest to try to drum up some excitement around that. And one of the top names that was put into that contest was Thunderbirds. And we really liked that name just because of we tried to find a real local connection, and we really wanted to have a connection back to history as well. So for me, having a bird be a representative is kind of like paying homage to the Falcons. The Thunderbird in Native American lore is an actual totem pole. It's the top of the totem pole. So we found another connection with our Springfield Indian brethren before us. And then also the two Air Force bases was a big part of this, right? So Barnes and Westover having Air Force bases and being active, to me, was just another connecting piece for the name itself. It does what we wanted, right? It's paying homage to the past, but also looking to the future and how we can forge our own path. And so for us, it was a nice change. It was a move on to the next era of Springfield hockey and have a different vision for it, and one that is really entrenched into the roots of the area.
I was kind of hoping you'd revive the Hartford Whalers, but
Hartford has its own AHL team.
Yeah, they do.
What's that team?
The Wolf Pack.
Nice. I like that.
The Whalers actually have been making appearances. The Carolina Hurricanes retained the rights to the Whalers. So every year, just like we do a throwback night every year and we wear a different jersey, the Carolina Hurricanes now in the NHL have been honoring the Whalers and wearing those colors and their logo and all that.
Interesting. My friend, comedian Judge John Hodgman, is the biggest fan of the defunct Hartford Whalers logo. It is one of the most perfect and elegant logos of all time. It really hits all of the notes.
Not to harp on college hockey, but
not to harpoon.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
But literally every college Hockey East game, the band plays the Whalers theme song at some point.
Interesting.
Everyone.
I love that. Thunderbird. They might be giants.
I know. More coming up with Nate Costa, president of the Springfield Thunderbirds, as we learn more about the ways the team connects with the greater community, including an upcoming concert with a well-known and beloved Boston outfit.
We'll also meet folks from Heartbeat Theater who will debut with the play Proof this weekend, and hear from Boston folks almost olive as they make their way to the stage at the Fresh Grass Institute tonight in North Adams.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. We're speaking with the president of the Springfield Thunderbirds, Nathan Costa.
The Thunderbirds do quite a bit of community action, and you mentioned some of this before, but like there's a lot of like kids programming and like summer programming, which I wouldn't have expected for an ice hockey team.
It's gonna melt out there.
And you do sled hockey, like you do all ability hockey, to try and encourage more people in the sport. Hockey is a really interesting sport. It is very weird that I like it, and the current TV show notwithstanding, heated rivalries notwithstanding. But talk about trying to get more people involved both in the Thunderbirds and with ice hockey in general.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a team at this level to have success, you've got to be ingrained into the community. You've got to be doing things that go beyond the sport itself. I mean, if you focus just on people that are hardcore hockey fans, I think what has happened in years past with the organization will happen. There's just a select few people that are really hardcore hockey fans. So if you make it really specific to that, it's very hard to make it successful. So for us, the community aspect is a huge part of what we do. We really look at ourselves as a community showcase, honestly, at our games. If you come to one of our games, you're going to see a community group participating in the national anthem. You're going to see youth hockey teams down on the ice lining up with the players. You're going to see, you know, kids high-fiving the players through the tunnel. Dance teams and cheer teams will be performing during intermission on the ice, and all different kinds of involvement. And essentially, if you don't engage those groups into what we're doing and you don't make it an experience and a place that people want to go and have a good time and have fun, and oh, by the way, there's a hockey game, it's just impossible to make it successful at this level. And so that then, you know, brings you to what you need to do in the community outside of just the time that you're playing hockey, right? So for us, how could we do things a bit differently than the previous organizations? How could we really take it to the next level? And so for me, I was in San Antonio. We had a sled hockey program there that we matched with the local Army base, and it was a real rehabilitation sport for the guys that were coming back from war and that had been injured, and they wanted to try something. They wanted to stay active and into sports. So that always stuck with me. So when I came here, our partner at CHD was trying to create a similar program. And I thought, how great would it be if we had an adaptive sled hockey program that we could support? And so that was one of the first things I wanted to get going, just outside of just the core hockey and what we do, in addition to just trying to have other programming, right? We do reading. We have a reading program that we do all the time. We have a school day game where we're bringing out fifth graders and third graders from Springfield Public Schools out to a game and trying to make it educational throughout the game. The list goes on in terms of the community programs that we're trying to participate in. And, you know, Monday's a good example of that. We probably haven't talked about hockey once when it relates to what Monday is, but it's a kids takeover, and it's a chance for us to allow kids to see what it means to work in the sport and not necessarily play the sport, right? So throughout the game, we match up kids from our kids club program with our full-time staffers. They get to shadow them throughout the night. They get to participate. We'll have, you know, a kid as a PA announcer. We'll have a kid down taking photos.
That's
we'll have
so
a kid
amazing.
running a camera. Yeah, like, you know, I think a lot of times kids think the only path to pro sports is to play. And at the end of the day, yes, you can be a professional athlete. But however, I mean, there are so many other things that you can do to participate and be involved in professional sports and make it a career. So at the end of the day, you know, it's just trying to provide access. Like, that's what the American League does a lot of. It's giving kids and people that are coming to our games experiences you're not going to get at the NHL level. You're not going to get to go to the NHL and get to line up next to a player or sing the national anthem. But at our level, you can, and that's what makes it special. And we really try to focus on sustainability, right? For us, we want to make sure that hockey's here for a very long time. And to do that, you need to invest in these community programs and do things the right way that don't focus on hockey.
This Kids Takeover that we've been talking about is happening on Monday, MLK Day. It is a matinee, so it's a 3:05 game as well. It'll be fun to see these kids in action there. And then I know coming up in March, there's another big, awesome event. And this band, whose lead singer we had on the show a couple months ago, has just released a song about ice, but a different ice. And they will be performing where the ice has just been performed on by the Springfield Thunderbirds when the Dropkick Murphys come for a post-game concert in the Thunderdome here in Springfield. Talk about that and how people can attend that event.
Yeah, so again, trying to just do things that are unique and that people probably wouldn't expect a local hockey team to do, right? So we've seen that they've actually worked with a couple other AHL teams, Milwaukee being one of them, a big music town, and they've done a couple post-game concerts with them very successfully. So we've been working on this for a while, and it just happened to make sense for our 10th year anniversary, and they were able to root it through their tour. And so the whole experience is going to be come on out, watch a hockey game. Unfortunately, our building is a little bit too small to just activate the concert right on the ice. But right after the game, the concert will take place in the convention center, which is attached to the arena. Mm-hmm. So we have 4,000 seats that are available for the concert. You have to buy a ticket to the game that night to then get access to the concert. We're going to blow it out. We'll be wearing St. Patty's Day jerseys for the very first time. There'll be Dropkick Murphy inspired at the game that night. We'll be blowing out music and doing all that fun stuff in game. And then afterwards, obviously showcasing the concert for a full show. They're going to do an hour and a half full show for our fans. Again, just trying to do something unique that will bring in fans that, of course, hockey fans love Dropkick Murphys, but I'm sure there are a ton that don't necessarily love the sport of hockey that will engage and get people out on, and just trying to do fun and engaging things that are going to make people want to be a part of what we're doing.
Keeping that long legacy alive of 100 years and almost 100 years and 10 years of the Springfield Thunderbirds. We've been speaking with the president of the Springfield Thunderbirds, Nathan Costa, who on Monday will have a Kids Takeover Matinee MLK Day celebration, which sounds wicked fun, as well as all sorts of other fun activities coming up for the remainder of the season. How is the team doing this season? How much should I ask?
Yeah, we haven't had a great couple days. We're a young team.
Charlotte was mean to us.
They were not favorable. No. Luckily, it happened in Charlotte, so hopefully that stays down in Charlotte. That's the challenge sometimes of our league. The St. Louis Blues are going through a little bit of a rebuild, and they're trying to get their house in order at the NHL level. It sometimes trickles down. That's why you can't focus on just team results, right? If you look at what we do on marketing and our advertising, it's about the experience of coming to games. It's doing things like the Kids Takeover game where, we're going to have our kids club involved, but after the game, you get a chance to meet all of our players post-game. You could do a post-game skate. We have our annual Pink in the Rink night. We do a Simpsons homage type thing where we rebrand to the Springfield Isotopes once a year.
Yes.
So that'll be happening in February. The Dropkick Murphys in March. We're doing a fun thing around for the first time, the 250th anniversary of our country. So just trying to do fun stuff that just in case the team doesn't perform well or they're not having a great year, there's still a lot of reason to come out to our building and to participate in the things that we're doing. Obviously, we want to have a winner and we want to bring a Calder Cup to Springfield more than anybody. That's my goal and my dream someday is to host that, hoist that cup on the ice. But
it's okay. Hockey East is also having a very weird, very bad year. There's a cloud over the
Northeast. There's
and
cycles, right?
Every season is different. This season is every season's a learning experience too. Everyone will bounce back.
Yeah. Well, I think, it's the rising tide, right? So, for us, we don't view, UMass Amherst as a competitor either. At the end of the day, we view the more successful hockey in general happening in our area is better for everybody.
Nathan Costa, the president of the Springfield Thunderbirds. You can check out what's going on with them, not only for the Kids Takeover, but all the other great events that are happening throughout the course of the season by going to SpringfieldThunderbirds.com. Thanks so much for coming in.
Really appreciate you having me.
Oh, yeah. No, this song is awesome. Yeah.
Dropkick Murphys redoing a song, Citizen ICE. They'll be playing at the Mass Mutual Center in March.
Indeed. And who got me into hockey? Same person who got me into this show. It's all a certain...
Guilty.
Yeah,
it's me.
It's that dude. It genuinely seems like the Springfield Thunderbirds are constantly doing things out and about in Western Mass, so check their website for their full schedule and tickets, etc. And thanks again to Nate Costa for spending time with us.
Live Music Friday with Almost Olive lies ahead before their carefully contrapuntal folk explodes on stage at Studio 9 in North Adams.
But first, we'll head to East Hampton, where a brand new theater company is taking a 20-year dream and giving it legs as we talk with folks from Heartbeat Theater about their production of Proof.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Eastside Grill, celebrating 40 years in downtown Northampton, serving steaks, seafood, and American cuisine to the Pioneer Valley and beyond. Open Wednesday through Monday, eastsidegrill.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Dean's Beans Organic Coffee, a locally based, worker-owned company committed to social and environmental responsibility, roasting fair trade, organic, shade-grown coffee since 1993. DeansBeans.com.
Proof is the Pulitzer Prize-winning drama by David Auburn. Set in the early 2000s, Proof is a commanding exploration of truth, authenticity, and the fine line between brilliance and instability. Jumping between past and present, the story centers on the family of a recently deceased mathematical genius. Through moments of profound revelation, deep healing, bitter judgment, and good humor, Proof examines how we reconcile grief, question the future, and make peace with the legacy left behind.
And the work will be the inaugural performance of a brand new theater company in East Hampton. Heartbeat Theater is bringing this piece to life in the Blue Room at City Space, enacting their mission to present simple, intimate productions of great plays, one heartbeat in the evolution of human society, passing ever forward its stories.
And with us to speak about the company and this work that they will open tonight are Kimberly Gaughan and Jason Rose Langston. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
It's exciting to have a new theater company. It is opening night, so thank you for being here for that.
It's our pleasure.
Jason, we have had on a production that you have had on before with Torch Song Trilogy.
That's right.
But this is a brand new theater company. Where did this company come from?
Well, actually, the genesis of this came out of another production that I directed last year, the East Hampton Theater Company production of On Golden Pond.
Mm-hmm.
And the cast and the crew had such a wonderful time on that show. We really developed a very warm family atmosphere that Kim and one of our other co-stars, William Spademan, got together and said, we want to do another show together. And it's actually a very funny story. They first had the idea of Proof before approaching me to direct, and they didn't know that Proof was actually on my bucket list to direct. Mm-hmm. So we all met for dinner one night, and we had this lovely crosstalk where I thought I had to convince them to let me direct the show, and they thought they had to convince me to direct the show. So after about an hour, we just figured out, oh, wait a minute, we all want the same thing, so let's just go ahead and do this. And it's been a joy ever since.
What are some connecting threads, you think, between On Golden Pond and Proof? I feel like family is the obvious one.
It is family and possibly instability. Mm-hmm. In On Golden Pond, we explored the issue of aging, the issue of losing one's faculties towards the end of their life. In Proof, one of the central themes is the question of instability of several of the characters' minds. And so, as a mental health professional by day, I was really drawn to this kind of show that actually portrays the psychology accurately, which is unfortunately still very rare in theater and film.
That's really interesting. So this, you are mining this for art as well as having to deal with this in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
What kind
Don't
of...
people usually go to art to escape
Yeah.
from a little bit of the real world?
Art therapy is a thing, yeah.
You do it about the real world, but it's to, like, have some space.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is, yes, theater can be a wonderful escape from the day-to-day grind of life. But if you're passionate about certain elements of humanity, of course you'd want to find those across the various artistic ventures that you go into. And so that's what drove me to this piece.
What in particular about Proof, which will have its opening night at the Blue Room at City Space in East Hampton, Jason Rose Langston, director and therapist, stands out to you as being so real in regards to the work you're doing professionally?
It comes in two forms. First and foremost, it starts with the writing. And David Auburn, who won the Pulitzer Prize for this piece, really knew what he was doing when he wrote into these characters, not just the instability and the question around mental illness and whether or not it exists and whether or not you can prove it in each person, but also the family dynamics that are the result of that kind of illness. So his writing really was the groundwork for that. And then it's just all about finding the honest performances. And I was very blessed to have 4 incredible actors to come and really put their heart and soul into each one of the characters, Kim being, of course, one of the central characters of the show. What I found really fascinating was that they didn't shy away from the question of instability or mental illness or anything like that. They really embraced the chaos of it in a very deep and meaningful way.
Well, we do have Kimberly Gaughan, who is with us and one of the actors in Proof, which will open tonight at the Blue Ribbon City Space in East Hampton. Who do you play in Proof, Kim?
I play Catherine, who is the daughter of a famous mathematician, Robert, who has recently passed away at the beginning of the show, and we sort of...
Spoiler.
Sorry.
Beginning of the show.
Oh, okay.
It's literally in the description we just read.
And we follow her journey through processing the grief of her father's passing and also sort of the aftermath of what he's left behind. I don't want to spoil too much, but there is a discovery in his belongings, and questions of authenticity and authorship come up.
What about this play made you want to be a part of it? What did you want to dig into with doing Proof?
Yeah, so I've sat with this script for about 20 years. I was a theater kid in the early 2000s in high school, and this was the show back in the day. It won the Tony. Mary Louise Parker was Catherine in the original production. And so I think as an actor, I've always wanted to try out this role because it's sort of a Titan female role. All of that history aside, as I've approached it as an adult now, I have such a deep respect for the character because of her resilience. She's hyper intelligent, and it's so nice to see a female character portrayed with such integrity and strength on stage in a way that I find is really authentic. So that's been really cool to dig into.
Kim, we were talking before we went on the air, and I hope this isn't revealing too much, but you're a recent transplant to the area, and rock climbing is what brought you here.
It's true. So my husband and I enjoy rock climbing in our free time, and we would come out to Irving to climb at Farley pretty regularly. And
from Boston-ish?
Yes, yeah. From Somerville, to be specific. I did feel like a bit of a poser, driving out every weekend, a city person, taking up the rocks. But we started creeping down into the valley post-rock climbing, to get some food, to get some beers, and we just loved the scene down here. And he was looking at nursing programs during this time, and so he made the decision to come out to UMass's nursing program. So that is officially what brought us out here.
I see. But not just the rock climbing.
Right. But the added benefit.
And you were an actor in Boston, and there's, you would think ample opportunity in Boston to do lots of acting, but
Except that sometimes the field is oversaturated, and that makes things difficult in different ways.
Tell us how it has been transitioning into the Valley or the 413's theater scene coming from the Boston theater scene.
It's been so great. When I came out here, I wasn't really sure what the theater scene would be like, but I was struck with how eager everybody is. There is so much art happening in the Valley, and it's so easy to find, and people are so welcoming, whereas I felt like it was a bit saturated in Boston, and I wasn't sure where to go or what scene I fit into, but I really, when I auditioned for East Hampton Theater Company's production of On Golden Pond, it was the first show I had done since the pandemic, and I instantly just felt this connection with this group of people, and it felt like doing a professional show. Jason's a total actor's director. He was amazing to work with, and we had such a wonderful time together. I've been thrilled with the scene here.
Well, I wanted to actually give a shout out to Kim's husband. By the way, thank you. I appreciate it. That's really nice. But one of the really wonderful gifts of this show is Kim's husband, Dan, who actually did an original score for us.
What?
Yes, an original score of all original music for all of the scene transitions and plays over some of the scenes. Really amazing work in his spare time while he's not nursing.
Yeah.
So I could not be more thrilled.
Not nursing and not studying with all of this free time that we have.
Exactly, yes.
Heartbeat Theater is a new theater company. Talk about the appeal of starting a new company and some of the challenges that you faced already.
Oh, the appeal of starting a new company is working with great people and working with people who have not just a passion for the work, but a dedication, a devotion to the work. That is exactly why I keep coming back to theater. And the idea that we had with Heartbeat Theater was to produce some of these plays that are much more intimate, that are much more actor-forward, much more performance-forward. And a venue like the Blue Room is a perfect example of this. 85-seat room, not a bad seat in the house. You can really get in there with the actors and make that kind of intimate connection. And so that approach, unfortunately, is not done that often out here in the Valley. Some of that has to do with funding. Some of that has to do with venue availability, things like that. And we've been very fortunate, actually, that we've been able to do this show at minimal cost. And we've had amazing support, actually, from East Hampton Theater Company that gave us full access to their theater shop and their furniture shop. And it's really been wonderful. And that's one of the things that's very unique, I think, in the Valley, is that everybody helps each other out.
Where did the name Heartbeat come from? How did you decide on a name? As somebody who's been in a band and knows how hard that is, and Khalees, who's been in many bands, one of which is playing the Iron Horse tonight.
Oh, nice.
Soul Magnets. How did Heartbeat come up as the name?
Well, we had sort of a democratic process for picking a name where everybody threw names into the hat, and then we kind of voted. And I believe it was Trish Perlman, who is one of our founding members, who played Ethel in On Golden Pond. Mm-hmm. She came up with Heartbeat, and we all gravitated towards it. I really liked it because it reminded me of iambic pentameter in Shakespeare, finding that heartbeat in the text. And
another shameless plug. You can go see Julius Caesar for free 1,000,000 times starring my son at the Shea Theater this whole weekend.
Amazing.
Oh, yes. It's theater and music up the wazoo.
so
But
much.
continue. Iambic
I know
pentameter.
there's so much going on in the Valley.
I know.
There's too much. So yeah, I love acting craft, and I think with the introduction of this company, there is a central focus on craft, on improving performance. And so, I don't know, I think I liked that connection between the sort of through line of a performance, finding that rhythm of the text, finding it with your collaborators, and it just seemed to be a really good fit for me.
Yeah, and I think one of our other actors, Shelton Widham, also said it best. He connected to the name as one heartbeat moving through time. The theater is one of those few art forms that exists throughout all of human history, in all cultures. And so the idea that we can connect through the heartbeat of the storytelling, that was really appealing, a beautiful way of putting it for me.
Take your pick out of these two. The appeal of smaller casts, because this is 4 people. On Golden Pond is also really small.
6 people.
Yeah, like that's still small.
Yeah.
Small cast productions and the beautiful viability of them. Or, and I think this is more interesting, what are you interested in doing next?
Ooh. I think probably the first one would be better because we really haven't looked past getting this one in the can.
Good thinking. Stay focused.
I am interested in doing an Annie Baker, maybe.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
That's news to me. Okay.
Just talk about like some of the advantages of like small cast productions like this.
I love myself a giant show. I've been in many of them, and I cannot wait to be in the next one. This kind of theater allows for a more intimate connection with the audience. It allows for a deeper exploration of character and also a deeper exploration of the dynamics between actors on stage, not just the relationships that form, but also their insights into each other's characters. During the workshopping phase of rehearsal, it was us all sitting around a circle talking about each scene in very direct ways. No bad ideas, just everybody exploring things. And you never know where the next best idea is going to come from. As a director, I always assume I don't have the best idea. You know, my first question is, well, what do you think this should be like? With a smaller cast, there's a opportunity for deeper exploration in that way. And as a student of group dynamics, I can tell you that the smaller the group, the easier it is to facilitate that. Yes, there is such a thing as too small a group, but I think we've created a really, really nice balance between craft and performance.
And lucky for everybody, you have 2 weekends to
Yes.
discover and see it.
Opening night of Proof from the brand new, I'm going to say the Valley's newest theater company.
Love it.
Heartbeat Theater Company is tonight. It'll be the 17th and 18th, as well as the 23rd, 24th, and 25th at the Blue Room City Space in East Hampton. There are matinees, there are 7:30 shows, and you can check out this intimate Pulitzer Prize-winning play in an intimate space with a great, having just met you, I'm saying great, new and wonderful theater company, Heartbeat Theater.
I should say the tickets are on sale at heartbeattheater.org. They are going fast, and we'd love to see you all there.
It is a small space, so yeah, act now. Operators are standing by. Director Jason Rose Langston and actor Kimberly Gaughan, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
We should also mention that you can go through City Space's website to get redirected to the ticket portal for Heartbeat Theater's Proof if you are so inclined.
Up next, Live Music Friday with the brain-bendy, unconventional folk of Boston's Almost Olive, who will perform in North Adams at Studio 9 of the Fresh Grass Institute tonight.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, helping Western Mass families achieve greater energy independence through solar power, battery systems, and air source heat pumps. Northeast-solar.com.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413, and if you can believe it, it's a Live Music Friday once again. It is the 1-year anniversary of the passing of David
I
Lynch.
know.
Anyway, and with us is a band you can see at the brand new Freshgrass Institute in the North Berkshires, Almost Olive. Almost Olive is Jackie Armbruster and Carl Henry, two like-minded, multifaceted, multi-instrumentalists who bring their omnivorous musical approaches to songwriting and arranging, crafting songs and tunes informed by tradition and inspired by the ever-changing musical landscape that surrounds them.
Both studied music at Oberlin with graduate work at the New England Conservatory, and both play with several other groups in the greater Boston area and beyond, including Cat Wallace Band, the Witherbys, High Horse, Quartet Davis, and many others.
Tonight, January 16th, they'll be playing in North Adams, a place they're familiar with, at Studio 9 with the Freshgrass Institute. Welcome to Live Music Friday in the Fabulous 413, Autumn Olive.
Almost
Sorry.
Olive.
I keep saying all day in my head. I've been saying, don't call them Autumn Olive, call them Almost Olive.
Yes.
Because I love Autumn Olives too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get to that
We're
later.
also pretty autumnal as people,
Yeah.
so that's okay.
Let's start out with a song.
Sweet. Sun is on the rise again. I feel the warm glow creeping in. And I won't lose, but I can't win as long as I'm trapped in this skin I do not recognize. Like ivy climbing toward the sky, I want to do more than survive. But the calloused hands that hold the time let days melt into lives hardly lived and born to die. Oh, watching you grow unfettered and free, I wonder how that it looked on me. You make bold strokes in black ink, I second guess each line. Was I made to stay inside? No. No. was made for something more than lonely tunes from the second floor. Unfurl myself, open some doors, let others close behind. Try living on first sight, first sight, first
Almost all of this live Music Friday in the fabulous 413 playing at Studio 9 at the Fresh Grass Institute near Mass Mocha in North Adams tonight. And that,
Just behind.
Yes, Jackie Armbruster on the Telecaster.
It's
and
true.
Carl Henry. Can you explain to us what you were doing? Because I think it's lost on the listening audience.
Yeah.
Although it's the second time we've seen somebody on this show playing in that manner.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But the other time was also at Fresh Grass.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a Fresh Grass.
who was the cellist? I'm curious.
Mike Block.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So I was playing cello, but sideways. I have it on a guitar strap. For those who know what a cello is, and also more for those who don't know what a cello is. At the bottom of it is there's an end pin, and that's usually you sit down and you have that there. And I just fasten, instead of using that stick to like use for the cello, instead I just use it to attach a guitar strap to it. And then I just attach it to the top with a shoelace.
It looks like a comically large bass guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love
Functionally, it kind of is. A
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit banjo, a little bit bass guitar.
Yeah.
He's doing it all.
that.
Which honestly kind of gets to the roots of folk too, because like cellos used to be used for the bass end of things, like in the late 19th century too.
Yeah.
Although you have a giant double bass behind you.
Yeah.
I would love to see you strap that thing on.
No,
Yeah.
break both person and instrument maybe, and those are expensive.
You'd be surprised. I feel like it probably weighs less than a banjo anyway.
Uh-huh.
Fair.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's more of the unbalancing bit of it that I think is the unwieldy part.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences between where you studying and doing this in Oberlin versus when you got to conservatory? I feel like they're linked, but like there's different approaches to the music that you're making and the music that you're taught and the ways that you're taught
Wow.
it in each place.
Yeah, we actually both at Oberlin, we were classical performance majors. I was a viola performance major, which I will not be playing today. Oops. And Carl was a cello performance major. But I would say we both were
We were both also doing.
we were exploratory classical music majors. So Oberlin, even though we were studying classical music, it's a pretty experimental program. They have a lot of new music, and they also have some cool programming for folks that are interested in, like classical folks who are interested in collaborating with jazz musicians or finding like a kind of third space. So we both kind of existed in that third space where weird stuff could happen. And then we went to NEC together, and we went through a program that's called Contemporary Musical Arts, but it was actually originally called Third Stream. So we kind of set up our third stream, and then we found, oh my gosh, we could do more school at a thing called Third Stream. So then at that point we were free. That program is very much create your own path, do what you want. And so we took lessons as a band, and we joined ensembles as a group. We kind of like buddy systemed our way through graduate school in a lot of ways. So I think, we definitely weren't held back from doing what we wanted to do when we were at Oberlin. I would say the opposite, but NEC, the program that we went through really
Was like designed for
yeah.
people like us to do this kind of stuff, which is
fun.
cool.
We love people like you. Expanding those musical boundaries for sure.
But
And
hearing some of those foundations too, one of the things that strikes me when I'm listening to your music is like this really interesting contrapuntal exchange between the two of you and whoever you bring in that is literally like my crack in sound. So like I appreciate that it's there and the ways that it grows.
Yeah, thank you.
I mistakenly called you Autumn Olive, but you're Almost Olive. Where does the name come from?
Yeah, so when we were originally thinking of the name for the group,
It's a little about, well, Jackie is into fashion.
Yeah,
and
I'm
they
into-
like autumn colors, like olive colors.
like olive green. So
Yeah.
I was pretty dead set from the get-go that olive would be in the name so that our merchandise would definitely be cute, you know? But
And it's
then,
like that certain shade of green and that
Yeah.
certain shade of like red and then
Yeah.
you know, and those are kind of like Jackie's colors, I
Yeah.
feel like.
but then also we originally were playing with a drummer. Our drummer moved to New York. So we were taking on these gigs, but we were playing them as a duo, but we still identified as a trio. And so we would show up to our gigs and say, we're Almost Olive. This is almost all of us. And so my love for puns and my aesthetic preferences
Yeah, kind of
mind melded into the
works.
band
Wow, we're going to
name.
get along swimmingly.
Yeah, no, those are the puns I like.
Well, you can see almost all of them tonight at the Fresh Grass Institute Studio 9 at Mass MoCA, right near Mass MoCA in North Adams at the Fresh Grass Institute. Let's hear another song from Almost Olive.
Yeah. We're going to do a little switcheroo.
Yeah.
It's a silver tone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also, this is now a uke with a guitar body.
This is a tenor guitar.
Oh,
So it's
hey.
actually tuned like a viola. I'm technically playing a fretted viola using my degree. All right. Oil and water.
Yeah.
You and me like oil and water. Hard to believe I was ever your daughter. Turn that water into lilac wine. Take a sip and tell myself I'll be fine. You and me like worms in apples. Boring holes till we see fractals of sunlight seeping through our freckled skin. Eat away at everything within me. There is you, a bloodline, a half-truth, a mirrored reflection, the changing inflection when you're speaking of me, the faltering heartbeat you gave me, you made me 1 foot in the grave to me, but I've been reclaiming, tasting my own name in the self that I'm sowing, the needles, the knowing that I could not have done what I've done. No, I could not have done what I've done without all of this to run You and me like sinning and church bells. One needs the other, but they never tell. When a stranger says they love my smile, I say, ain't it good for a motherly
Almost Olive, Oil, and Water.
Almost olive oil and water.
See,
Wow.
this is the pun style that I have to deal with on a daily basis.
What's wrong with that? It's pretty astute, having just been exposed to both the band Almost Olive and the song Oil and Water right here in Live Music Friday. Almost Olive playing at the Fresh Grass Institute Studio 9 in North Adams tonight.
Thank you so much for coming. Like I remembered seeing you at Fresh Grass in 24.
Oh, wow.
And it's a delight to have you in studio.
Your sound is so wonderful, and we welcome you back to Western Massachusetts.
And
We're happy to be here.
And we'll tell people to be on the lookout for your upcoming album.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you guys so much for having us.
But in the meantime, you, of course, can head over to their Bandcamp page to check out their really delicious EP, It's Lovely.
Which you're hearing right
You
now.
are. The opening track, Rosalie. It's a delight.
Next week on the Fabulous 413, a power of history straight from West Africa with Professor Usman Power Green.
We'll have Community Action's Eat Up for Heat Up with Executive Director Lev Ben Ezra.
And we'll talk with some of the Quabbin River stewards about their open letter to Beacon Hill about fair compensation for our Western Mass water.
And maybe check into the histories of those 4 towns we lost to make the Quabbin.
Indeed. You can go check out Khalees Smith's band, the Soul Magnets, at the Iron Horse tonight.
Woo! We have a horn section, lots of dancing in store.
I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.